Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining today's session. Let's start with a quick relaxation technique. Let's sit back and relax. And hand over anything and everything that is taking away from us from feeling light. Any heaviness, any burden, hand it over. When we say hand it over, We are handing it over to time. We are handing it over with the full faith and belief that it will be taken care of. And everything will fall into place just as is it meant to be. A very simple, effective technique to relieve ourselves from heavy burdens, stressful moments. It's just a matter of inculcating this habit, of detaching, disassociating, disconnecting from anything that doesn't make us feel light or relaxed. It's just a matter of habit that we've developed. That the mind likes to park itself in situations and exhaust itself from all the negative energy of the situations. Instead, all we do is train the mind, train ourselves to park in a very relaxed state. I am relaxed. I am light. I am calm. All is well. This moment is only teaching me to detach. Let me learn this skill to detach, to disassociate my mind and park it in a place of peace and lightness. Unless we do not keep emphasizing, reinforcing this goal, this objective to the mind, the mind won't park itself in a relaxed, calm, light, happy state. Eventually, it will if we keep reinforcing. So let's keep reminding ourselves and telling our mind to stay relaxed, to stay relaxed. Thank you, and let's resume our session today in a relaxed state of mind. Thank you.
Thank you, Sister Raki, for the wonderful meditation exercise. Hi, everyone, and this is Prashant. So, we have this new session on artificial intelligence, generative AI, and wherein the instructor will be talking you through about specifically on ChatGPT. So, we have Ashish with us, who is going to take today's session on generative AI. So before he gets started, let me introduce himself to you. so that you become familiar with him, and then I would hand over the session to him for starting on with the topic. So first of all, Ashish is a data science scientist with one of the big MNCs in India, and he has been an MIT boot camper as well. He has got Howard Golden delegate as well, and he has been actively involved into UNESCO social activities. He is a UNESCO social activist as well, and professionally, he has a great background in artificial intelligence. He is an artificial intelligence speaker, consultant for numerous multiple world events. So he has got a good knowledge and background in this domain, and he will be able to take you through the generative AI concepts and how ChatGPT can help you optimize most of your work in your daily life. So I hope this is going to be an insightful session for you all. And with that, I would request Brother Ashish to unmute himself and maybe he can speak a few lines about himself and then we can get started. Thank you, Brother Ashish, for joining today. Over to you.
Thank you, Prashant, for having me and the team to give me such a beautiful opportunity to be part of you and give this wonderful session. And I hope each one of you carries something valuable today from my session. And free feel to stop me anytime you have any questions and ask. And I would love to know more if you have any job related doubts or any specific like how to use it in day-to-day life. I will be happy to answer, and I wish you take as much as possible from this session. So let me share my screen. Are you able to see my screen?
Yeah, we can.
Yes. So today the topic will be on Chat GPT. Like, what is this Chat GPT and what are the various use cases behind it? So in the pandemic, as we are getting out of pandemic and getting into the era of like post pandemic where people are coming off from this hard times, there's this new phrase coming into the picture called Chat GPT. It was buzzing a lot. So they on the news, it will see that it can write code, it can even create content, it can like make websites, it can give you consulting, therapist, advices, and it can even be your best friend talking to you, cracking some weird jokes. So what is this Chat GPT? How it came to the picture? So we'll slowly try to understand that, and slowly I will understand how do we use it into day-to-day activity to make most out of it. So all of us know whenever there's a change that comes into the picture, second, yeah. So whenever there's a change, any change, there's always a revolution behind it. There's always a revolt around it. So we know when calculators came to the picture, that time the maths teachers were like, no, students shouldn't use calculators. They will not learn maths properly. They will not do calculations properly. They'll go easy and become lazy in calculations. Then again, when telephone came to the picture, the post office people revolted. They said that uh, the people won't give out the email. People won't give envelopes. People won't go stamp writing. So there was a lot of revolts around it. And then when computers came, teachers are like, okay, the students will not read it from the books. The students will not listen to the teacher. They argued that the computers are going to stop the world from becoming better. So similarly, when ChatGPT came, there was a lot of revolt against it. Like, no, will not think originally. People will not do their work themselves. They will make machines do it, and they'll just sit down and watch. So there was a lot of pessimism around it. But as we know, as we went forward, we saw a lot of good things happening. People started to go from maths to abacus, and they started learning maths properly. And then phone, we have phone and we see there's tons of gadgets in it, right? So like it helps us, it minimizes the cost as well as makes us more productive in the long run. Similarly, this is what chat gpt also does. So you can compare ChatGPT to a mobile phone. Just like a mobile phone is a physical object which currently has all these facilities, where it can be a MP3 player, where it can also take images through camera, even record your voice, and even give you like tells you the time, sets alarm. All these beautiful things can be summed up in a mobile phone itself. You don't have to pay extra money for all these gadgets. Similarly, ChatGPT, as we saw the buzz around it, it can code for you. It can like write blogs. It can give you creative ideas. It can even give you recipes. So that's the beauty. It's like a virtual assistant for you. You can take it as a crazy, funny intern that's working for you at the free of cost and doesn't get tired. So going forward, so he was one of the founders of ChatGPT. So with the term we call ChatGPT, it has something called GPT. It's called generated pre-trained models. It came from AI and ML. So what does it do is that it takes the data that we have already in our system and it checks like what all things it can generate out of it. So the data is already there and it's trying to generate some beautiful outputs out of it. That's the creativity part of GPT. So previously, only the technologists, only the industrialists and the coders has the right to use this GPT. So the chat GPT that we speak so much about has come up from something called GPT 3.5 Turbo Plus. Now it's Turbo Plus because it's just Turbo. So it was all from there it started, and people, normal common people like us, we didn't have any clue and any idea or how to use it. Only coders had the power to use it. But it was him, Greg, who actually officially announced it's for the common people, like anyone can use chat gpt 3.5 in the form of chat gpt. Now we'll see how does it actually work. So before that, let's understand the boom, why it's called a boom. So we have seen various apps like Spotify, Instagram, ChatGPT now, but yeah, so Facebook, Netflix. So all this took a lot of time to gain 1 million user base. But ChatGPT, only in 5 days, it has crossed like 1 million user base. That's the power we are talking about. That's the way the people are going forward towards the AI right now. Moving forward, I would just put a disclaimer before I go forward. So this 1.5 hours or 2 hours of session, whatever I say will not stop you right now. And you have to go and research more because it's evolving, it's still evolving. Today I will show the latest things, but tomorrow again more new things will be coming. So be more aware in the network. I'll also tell you which are the best places to learn about this and how can you in your day-to-day activity make most out of it. So let's get started. So recently there was a session by for developer community by Sam Altman where he said that what are the new features ChatGPT is coming up with. So there's something called context window in ChatGPT. The where people write their doubts and all. So that's length has increased and there is now more control. So previously the chat GPT used to speak randomly. Now there's more control on the data. So it will give you whatever you are expecting to answer, not something very creative out of blue, so that the businesses or the people like us can use it for better growth. And it has more knowledge. Better knowledge means it can give you more accurate information. And then now we also have customization. We can customize the answers in such a way that it always relevant to our data only. We don't have, it doesn't go out and search online or somewhere else. So and the prices also is going down. We'll see to it now going forward. So there was a this thing that chat gpt used to forget the talks that we have already done in the past, but now it memorizes those talks. Like if we have a session open, it memorizes what he has spoken previously. It doesn't forget that. This difficulty has been taken off from GPT, Chat GPT, new version right now. So these are some of the new things. Now I'll show you a video how the ChatGPT's power actually works. So I'll just give a brief about this first, then I'll show the video. So basically, there's a small boy. He doesn't know how to fix his cycle. So he has a cycle and he has to change the seat of the cycle because it's too high for him. How does he do that? He doesn't know mechanics. He doesn't know how which part to fix, how to fix, what are the tools needed to be fixed. He doesn't know anything. So he, what does he do? He takes the picture of the cycle and asks that how to lower the seat. The chat GPT points it out that these are the places where he needs to change in order to lower the seat and he can ride it. So this is the way he did it. I'll just show you the video. Yeah. So here he took the image of the cycle and he's asking the chat GPT that how do I actually lower the seat? So chat GPT gave it a long set of answers. So he found out that ChatGPT is pointing out this place of the cycle. This has to be lowered in order to support his sitting. Now, so any sort of confusion he has, like, is this called this? Should I change this? That also ChatGPT is able to explain him that, okay, this is the thing that's to be changed, but this is not what it is called, and this is how you need to do it. Now he had doubt how to do it, so he's going to pull in the manual as well as the toolkit and ask using both. So you see here it able to explain that, see, this is the manual, this is the toolkit I have given. Now I want which toolkit to be used and how to be used in order to lower my seat. And it goes to the everything, the both the images, and finally gives the answer. And the boy is at the end able to lower the seat without help of any mechanic. So this is so much helpful. Similarly, we can also use it in from day-to-day activity, and I'll show you as we go forward. So coming back, yeah. So before we go ahead, can someone name this person? Who is this person? He is the actual person who is behind ChatGPT, who made ChatGPT. Any guesses?
He seems to be AI generated.
Yeah, yes, that's true. You see, he's actually purely AI generated. I was just checking with you, like, this is the power of also ChatGPT. ChatGPT recently has made DALI 3 unlushed version, which makes more clearer faces and it makes it more realistic. But yeah, this is actually taken from Sundar Pichai's pictures, and his face has been reduced to make a child look picture. Many people guess it wrong, but yes, it is AI generated. Yeah. So he's just, you can think of him, he's like an intern, okay? He's Chat GPT, okay? You can take him like a Chat GPT. He's an intern who is working for you and helping you out in your day-to-day activities, and then get frustrated or angry when, even if his work is not good, you can actually teach him how to do his work. So we will be understanding that as we go forward. So you can take it like a genius intern. Okay. Now, okay, there's another fun fact. What is the hottest language in the world, according to you? What do you think? Any guesses?
Right now it is Python, but it keeps evolving. Even there are alternatives to Python even now. So
Okay, Python is not the answer here. Any other guess? Any other one? Anyone else? Okay, the answer is actually English. The reason being, like the way we write prompts, it's all in English. Like if I have seen there was a research done recently that there's some 50 English teachers were taken and 50 data scientists were taken, and they were asked to write prompts to tweak ChatGPT to get most out of it. The English teachers' performance was much better compared to the data scientists, just because they know how to trick with just simple plain English. So yeah, going forward, so let's understand the background, like what all things are there in ChatGPT when we open the window. So there is something called red box that you saw at the bottom. It's called context window, where we write the prompts, the words that we want the machine to do. And then blue one is called prompt. That's the thing that goes into our model and the output comes. The final output that we get in the green box is called completion. That's like how the completion machine. So these are the three things that one should remember primarily to get most out of ChatGPT. Now, okay, another fun fact. So we know that we write prompts to ChatGPT, right? The sentences, the things that we write to the machine, that's ChatGPT, is called prompts. We write it in plain English, right? Because we know English or any other language that we comfortably we write in that language. But machines like computers, they don't know English. They don't know other languages. They know only bits like numbers and all. They're zeros and ones. So what does these machines do is that first we write it in English, then it breaks it down to smaller chunks, which is actually some weighted numbers, which are called tokens. So can anyone give some random number like 100 tokens is equal to how many words could be? Yes? Okay. So so roughly 75 words is equal to 100 tokens. Like 75% of the token length. Word is a 75% of token length. Now we see that the old version that we had ChatGPT, it takes 3000 words. That's roughly 4096 tokens. But as right now ChatGPT is evolving from 3.5 version that I said, we're going to fourth version. So it is 16,000 tokens. That's equivalent to writing a short story itself. And as we move forward, we see that the chat gpt new version, that's the premium version that people are taking, it has around 8,000 to 32,000 tokens. That's equivalent to writing a short novel itself. And okay, another fun fact, can someone guess the symbol in between? What the symbol is about? Can have anyone seen this symbol? Any guesses? Okay. The symbol is called Claude, and it is the made by Google. Okay, just like ChatGPT is powered by Microsoft and OpenAI, similarly, Anthropic AI is working on something called Claude. Claude is again a rivalry of ChatGPT. It has around 100,000 tokens. Let's say 75,000 words. That's like a um, mini Panchatantra itself, like mini book, like collection of short stories itself. That's the power of Claude. So they are come up with Claude 2.0 version right now, which is very powerful and competing with ChatGPT. I will show you. It's free to access in India. Before it was only limited to US and UK, but now Indians can also access it. That's the beauty. So we understand that different types of prompts are there. Okay, the first type of prompt is there is called in context learning. So what does it happen is that we first give an example and try to see what output we get. Generally, if you see here, it's called zero shot reference inference because we are not giving any examples. We're directly asking a question. So classify this review. I love this movie. Sentiment, we got positive, but this doesn't always happen. Sometimes it give us very bad results, like reviewed a very nice book review. So that's not the exact way we want the answer to be. So in those cases, we give an example. We tell the model to we give an example of the model, then we get the output. So that's called one-shot inference. So first we give an example, like classify this review. I love this movie. Sentiment is positive. Then classify this review. I don't like this chair. Sentiment. So it understood that we need the output in this format, positive or neutral or negative. So on that basis, it finally gives us an output like negative. That's one shot. And if the answer is still not coming for you, there's something called few shot inference. Few shot inference. So here you give multiple examples to the model, and then it understands, okay, this is the sentiment, this is the way the sentiments are to be analyzed, and it gives the final output. That's called few shot inference model. So if a model, even after giving 5 to 6, it doesn't give well output, that means you have to train your model differently. That means the examples are not that clear to the model. Sorry. Yeah. So let us have some fun. Like, coming to ChatGPT, we saw the what is ChatGPT, what are the different prompts, how the window looks like, and what are the things we can do. So these are very crazy things people write. People are very creative nowadays with ChatGPT. So if you see the fourth one, what's the best way to make a grilled cheese sandwich? It will take that input and it will see what all things are required and give you step-by-step approach. Some of the chefs have actually tried this and they have made it, like in Europe there's a place people call it the GPT recipe, where people, all the food restaurants that a menu they have, whatever there is menu, all are suggested by Chat GPT. And recently Coca-Cola also has released their own flavor of drink just by taking suggestion from Chat GPT, and they call it the GPT flavor because they have all given their data, like their all their flavors, all their people's feedbacks and everything, and from that it has generated a flavor, and which is like just scheduled in US for the timing, but it's called GPT flavor. So people are trying crazy things with Chat GPT. Okay, now we have understood
Excuse me,
Chat GPT.
Ashish, I have one small question. In the previous
Sure.
in the previous slides that you showed, like zero shot inference, one shot inference, and so on, what is the difference between
Mhm.
those examples and on the left hand side and training data that we have for um, artificial or AI ML models or even uh, generative AI models? Is it different from training data? What you have, um, I mean, the zero shot inference one.
That's a very good question. So let me come to that. So basically, when we make a model, a AI/ML model, we have trained the model in a particular way, right? So be it like here we're doing sentimental analysis. If you see, like we're checking the sentiment, is it positive, negative, or neutral, right? So basically, the Chat GPT type of model, this LLM models, this large language models, are trained on a lot of things. Okay, like be it like text summary, summarizing the text, or be it like doing sentimental analysis, or be it like picking up the best word from a collection of words. So there's so many applications are there in one LM model itself. So when we are, that training and testing is going on in the background, that is done, that's there. But what we actually, when we start talking to a LM model, we are actually searching a particular format, right? We're not asking the model to give, suppose we're asking it for what you want to cook in the afternoon, and it talks about like some news from AI world or from US. That's not the exact thing we want, right? That's a wrong output. In those cases, we need to make the model sure that it understands at then and there, correct it then and there, so that it gives us the actual output. So this is the place where correcting, like uh, on spot correction we are doing, like training them on spot using prompt engineering. I hope I'm able to create an answer.
I see. Thank you very much.
Yeah. We will do some practical outputs as well. I'll show you. Then I think it will become more clearer. So yeah, now we understand how to master prompting. So we saw what is ChatGPT. We saw the context length and what are the rivals and all. We saw what are the various types of prompting are there. But how do we personally become a master at prompting, so we can make most out of it. So again, coming back to our intern, the ChatGPT intern. So he's very good intern. Like he obeys you diligently. He doesn't get tired. He will give you refreshed outputs every time. But there are some drawbacks to him. That's why humans will persist, and this mindset people have that AI has come and humans are at risk of their jobs. That's not entirely true. People who know how to use AI for their own good and for the society will sustain for a longer. So always remember, garbage in is equal to garbage out. So type of input or type of questions you ask to your chat GPT, the type of output you will get. For example, if I say that who is the best cricketer, when we say this statement, we're not giving any reference, any background. In those cases, it will just randomly say someone's name. But now, if I give some reference, who is the best cricketer or the who is the man of the tournament of 2023 World Cup that was conducted in India, then it will just go into the news loop, check, and it will come across with Virat Kohli. So why this is the second time it gave us a better result compared to the first one? Because we gave it more context. That's the point. Like the type of input you give, the type of output you'll get. So, for example, previously, this is how I used to write emails, and like I would use ChatGPT, right? Write a sales email to promote a launch of ChatGPT workshop. So that's a very simple thing, and it can randomly write anything out of it. I'm not giving any context, but slowly later on, this is a very poor way to write. What is the actual way to write? So coming back to our interns, for example, you are hungry today and you tell your intern that I want to eat I'm hungry and I want and to have some food. The intern goes and suppose that it brings for you some biryani. it doesn't know it doesn't know about your background, like you are dieting, you are on a like you're fasting that day, you might be fasting, or there might be some puja at your house, so you'll not have non-veg. So he doesn't know about that, and you would about your non-veg. But when you tell the intern, no, I can't have this, so that's the correction part. That's just like in chat gpt, will correct it wherever it goes wrong. And because of too much of corrections, there are set of prompts made in such a way that it gives proper result in one go. So we'll understand how to make that best of the results. So this is how a good prompt looks like. So previously you saw I just flatly asked, okay, I'm conducting a workshop in ChatGPT, write an email, sales email. So give a very flat email. But now I'm providing all the required informations. For example, I'm telling it to behave in such a way. Like I'm telling it, you are an experienced email copywriter. So I'm setting a context at first, like what he has to do. He has write an email, but he's an experienced email writer who has already written as top-notch brands like Uber, Ogilvy. He has already written in those places. So he's a very renowned writer, email writer. And then what he has to do, the task. First is the role, second is the task. We are setting some task like write and launch email for a new workshop of Growth School on ChatGPT 101. There we are setting up the task for it. Then we're giving the instructions, what all needs to be there in that email. So what all is there? So we tell that like the audience is about 22 plus of age, and they are a mixture of people coming from marketing, tech, product, and design. And what are they are interested to learn the hacks about prompt engineering, as well as also tell them about what bonuses they will get after learning this. And then I'm also setting up some data. This data, the last part is called example, is optional. That I'm telling that it should be relevant to 2023 people, and it should be something mind-boggling. So this is the context I set. So what are the four magical pillars? So these are the four magical pillars of writing any good prompt. First, you set the context, like what is your role, what you have to do. So set the context, then task. That's what you have to do, what I want you to do for it, and then the instructions, like what are the instructions you have to follow to get the best out of this task, and then some example or data which is optional. So now I'll show the breakdown. Like first was the context, then the task. In the context, I'm setting that you have a role and you're known for this role. In task, it actually does that work, and instruction is the additional information where he has to remember that these points has to be taken into consideration while writing that email. And then I give some background information if I have written previously. So those background details, because it remembers from the past now. So background details to make it a better end-to-end circulated answer. So that's the whole how a good prompt looks like. So this is how one should write a prompt in order to get best results from their chat GPT. Now there's some more ways to improve your prompting. So for example, you saw that zero reference where it was giving me bad results. So then we use something called chained prompting. We take that reference and then we tell them that no, we don't want answer like this. It has to be in the sentimental format, positive, negative, neutral. So that's where visual chain prompting comes in the picture. And sometimes even we can modify the output. What do you mean by modify the output? We can send it that we want the output in a particular format. For example, I want the top 10 cricketers of 2023. In that case, it might give me in a table format, but I said that no, I don't want it in table. I want it in bulletin points format. So that's called modify output. And there's something called refine, fact, or check or edit. So sometimes what happens is that this is a beauty of ChatGPT. Even if you write a wrong spelling, it understands your concept, that what you're actually trying to mean, and it corrects and sends you the correct answer. But that's the beauty of ChatGPT. So these are the all improvements that's coming up in ChatGPT. Now there are various types of ChatGPT prompting style are there. Something called chain of thought prompting. This is very useful when you are doing some calculations. Sometimes what happens, the machine doesn't know, it becomes very creative. It's like a writer. It's not like a detective or something who checks for the facts, but it's like a writer. It writes free folly. So when coming to mathematical calculations, you'll see it will do a lot of mistakes. In those cases, we have to teach the machine like how to use the math, like step by step approach, where chain of thought prompting comes. So all this, there's a blog of mine. I'll share those blog. You can read through this, and it will help you to write a good prompts. So keeping the interest of time moving forward, there's some limitations was there in 2020. The data was till 2021 September, but recently after the recent news, it has moved to April 2023. So the whatever information you'll search, you will able to find in April 2023. Like previously, if you ask ChatGPT who was the CEO of Twitter, it won't be able to tell you Elon Musk or something. It will say you about, not even Parag Agarwal. It will just go way back to Linda. She was very old CEO. That was the factual mistakes were there in ChatGPT. So now it has been pushed to April 2023. So you'll find all relevant information. Previously, the context window was 3000, but now it has been pushed forward to around 15,000. So that's the beauty of ChatGPT right now. So more data you can pass in and get the results. And then it has a problem of forgetting things like previously, but this has been taken care of in the recent results. So these are the new things. So it doesn't easily forget what has happened in the past. So okay, we all know that this intern chat gpt was, you have to go and log into the page and get all the results. But I am currently working on something very cool, integrating ChatGPT in WhatsApp. So I can directly talk to WhatsApp, and WhatsApp I can get all the results of ChatGPT. So that's one of the key projects that I'm working on. So this is the example I show you here. Like I just writing a launch email for a new workshop of Growth School on generative AI. So it shows this typing and then it gives me the output. And I'm also trying to make it voice generated so that it takes my voice, understands it, and gives me a tweet. So I asked him to give another tweet on AI, this tweets on AI. So it went through Twitter, scanned it, and generated a creative AI tweet. So this is what currently we are progressing towards. So let's understand some of the beautiful use cases of ChatGPT. We have heard a lot. Now we'll see some practical use cases of ChatGPT. So first one of all is called Act Like a. So I'll show you a demo example. I hope you are able to see my screen.
Yes, I can.
Yeah. Yes. Okay, perfect. So now I'll show you a demo example like act as a. So previously we see that if when we are searching, suppose I say that I have fever and recommend me some medicine. The chat GPT will say, but it will say sorry to hear that you're not well, and it gives us some information like what all medicines to be taken. But this is because of the advanced version right now. I'm using GPT-4, but previously this wasn't the case. It doesn't used to give us the output, and you just give us a thrown error that I can't help you on that. So what what's a good way is like if I write act as a doctor.
Ashish, just a quick question.
Sure.
The place where you are writing is called the context window, is it?
Yes, yes. This is the context window, right?
And when it finishes, at the top it gives you. That is the prompt, is it?
This is a prompt. This is a prompt,
Ah,
and this is the
okay, that's
completion.
okay. Thank you. Thanks.
Let me share you the location how to reach till here first. Thanks for reminding me. So if I just go to Google, normal Google, I write OpenAI. This OpenAI comes. I click this website, and here, if you go down here, if you click ChatGPT, then overview, this will tell you all about ChatGPT. Now if you want to try it out, now yeah, even you have mobile apps now, you can even download it from the Google Play Store or App Store and try in your mobile phone as well. It's available, and it has voice notification as well. You can use voice. You see here logo, you can click on that and say it like whatever you want. You can say it and it will generate the output. You don't even have to sit and type. So if you click on web, try on web, so then it shows a new slides like this. So I'm currently using like you will get this the free version with ChatGPT 3.5. That's the free version. ChatGPT 4 I have subscribed to recently, so that's the one for images and data analysis. Will come to that. For 3.5 you'll get all the text related ones, and I'll show you how to get most out of it. So like suppose I write a very lame thing like I don't want to go to I don't want to go to office and give me an excuse to tell my boss, my manager. So ChatGPT will see that uh, this is not right thing to do. So it will first tell you that you shouldn't do this. It will not support you in anything unethical. Like if you say that I want to create a bomb or I want to join ICS. So in those cases, it will not give you any results. It will try to scold you indirectly and stop you over there. But there is something called nudging prompt or jailbreaking prompt through which you can actually get results. So you can like act as a very powerful tool over there. Just we saw like previously. So here I didn't use act like a, but we get some results. But if I use act like a doctor in my previous case where I had fever, it's like act as a doctor and suggest me some good medicines for a quick recovery from a 102-degree Fahrenheit. So here first it will tell you that it's not a doctor, but it will act like a doctor, and whatever things you can potentially do from getting better. So it will suggest you the medicines as well as take some rest, stay hydrated. So it'll give you ideas what are things possibly a person can do in such cases. Cool compresses, light clothing. So it give you a different bulletin points like how do you actually handle situation as a doctor. So previously you just said some medicines, random medicines, no steps to be taken care of. Now it gives you some good steps also. So that's the beauty of act as a keyword. So suppose here I say act as a uh, manager, how do I tell my employee to get my papers ready as he is on a sick leave today? So as a manager, it will write an email like, hope this message finds you well. So you see, it's trying to make you feel like a sweeter tone is there, like a calming tone. And unfortunately, this urgent work is there. So see, how does it make the whole flow? Like it makes it very smooth. So first of all, it says a subject, then the dear, then the name. So here you see this third bracket is there, right? So this third bracket is called placeholders. So if you particularly place someone's name in the prompt, like you write to, instead of employee, if you write Ashish over here, tell Ashish. So instead of the dear employer's name, it will take Ashish, dear Ashish over there. So that's like like you can mention like whatever placeholders needs to be changed. So you see directly the name changed to Ashish from dear, then third bracket was there. So and below you see your name. So this third bracket shows placeholders. So you don't have to make much changes in the code or in the write up also. You can just mention in the placeholder, this placeholder bracket, replace the name by this person. So it will replace that name, and your half of the things are more how to say, more clarified and more cleanly done. Like you don't have to even go and read a lot, it will explain you. And the beauty about the mobile app is that it will actually read this whole thing for you. You don't have to sit and read this as well. But that's how easy it has become. And you see this 2 by 2. So previously it was just one. When I just corrected this one, this is called chain prompting. So I use that, then I changed on top of it. This is called chain prompting. Okay. Now going back to the another use case. So these are the various roles one can take and tasks that can be formed. Suppose act like a CEO and create a summary and show a format in a JSON format. So like that, this is a very powerful act as a. So you can select whichever role your model wants to, you want ChatGPT to play, and then whatever task you want to assign, and after the task is assigned, what format or output you want. Suppose you want a tabular format, so you can do that. Like I'll show you an example. Act as a journalist list, document the top 5 players of 2023 of 2022 football world cup in a tabular format. Okay, so the recent one is still January 2022. So the next version will be higher on top of that. So let me try it. Okay, Football World Cup in 2000. Yeah, you see, it was able to pull in the player names, their countries, and their positions in the tabular format. So suppose I say that instead of tabular format, I want it in bulletin format. So it's changed to bullet format. This makes your work much easier. And then suppose like there's a very good concept about ChatGPT is that if you are not able to understand something, you can use this phrase to understand anything. Like act uh, as if I am 5-year-old kid and explain me the concept of tax. Suppose tax. Yeah. So it will take a very simple example, like it will treat you as a 5-year-old kid and give you an example, like for example with cookies. Here he is taking cookie as a money, is in terms of money, and explain you the concept. And if you're still not able to understand a concept, you can again ask for another example. Give me another example. So it will give you another example because you're not, and you see the flow is still same. It still thinks you as a 5-year-old kid and gives you an output like how the taxes actually is. So like imagine you have a box of colorful crayons. Each crayon is like a money that grown-ups earn. And so it explains you like what is each color means. What is a tax comes into the picture. What portion goes for the tax. Explains this. But if you're still not comfortable and you have doubt because the language issue or something, you can use this one. This works like a magic. um, Explain the above in English. So you can make ChatGPT explain you things in Hindi, English, and other languages. But if when you use English, it uses in our day-to-day activity, like talk we do with our friends, family members, or people we meet outside. We use a bit of Hindi or English or any your mother tongue on English. That mixture we do. So that thing ChatGPT can also do it. It's called English. Explain the above concept above in English as if. This is important. Do tell it where you're from a metro city, otherwise it will try to put some Devanagari Hindi to it, and the things will again become very confusing. As if I am from Delhi Metro. Yeah. So बच्चे सुनो. So he starts like बच्चे सुनो. Imagine कर लो. See, it takes you the 5-year kid itself, and then on top of it, he's using English. बच्चे सुनो. Imagine कर लो. So imagine is an English word. So that's how English works for him. तुम्हारे पास एक बड़ा हुआ रंगीन crayons का है. So see, it's use Hindi but with English, so it makes your explanation understanding much more clearer. So this way you can talk to ChatGPT, and lot of concepts will get clearer. Okay, and now let's go into the next use case. So the next use case is you can summarize anything like a pro. What does this mean? Suppose you are trying to have a book, or you have some big essay and you don't have much of a time, and you want to compress and understand maximum out of it. In those cases, what you can do, suppose I go to some, I select some random suppose I need a paragraph, right? Suppose I say The Alchemist. So it's a famous writer's book. Suppose I go to the Wikipedia and I have a work that I have to summarize this book in small points, but this is too big for me to read and all. So then what I do, I copy this information. Yeah, I copy the information. I go to ChatGPT. I paste this. So here I first of all I set the context. After setting the context, then I give the task. Act as a book reader, summarize the above passage in 5 lines. So first I set up a context, then I gave her a task, and after giving a task, I said in that what are the instructions, like 5 lines. That's the max I want from the above summarization. And even if my spelling of summarize is wrong, ChatGPT beautifully understands what it needs to be done and summarizes in short for me. Yeah. So The Alchemist is written by this author, and this is the things that are there in this book. It explains me about the pyramid, Egyptian pyramids and what the message the writer wants to give beautifully. But if you want something more crisper in terms of summarizing, so you can use one more thing is that this I use it something called Pareto principle is there, something called 80-20 rule. So like 80% of the context comes from the 20% of the information. So instead of 5 lines, if I write from the above passage, summarize the above passage in such a way that from 20% information I get 80% of the context. So this way of summarizing, it actually summarizes much more in detail. It's comparatively shorter, and but it's more crispy, because if you see, certainly The Alchemist by Paulo, the story revolves around Santiago and uh, Andalusian shepherd boy. So he explains about the person in a very crisp manner, and you get the most out of it. This is a very strong way to make your good summaries. Sorry. Yeah. Now, like this is a one, like apart from this, suppose tomorrow someone in your company is wants to apply, and you are referring that person. In those cases, the resume is quite big, and even the job description is very big. And how will you uh like first check, a lot of time goes while reading the resumes, also reading the job profile is fit or not. In those cases, you can use Chat GPT in order to summarize the person's whole resume in terms of for the his fit for the job or not. For example, I write um, naukri.com. Yeah, suppose there is some random, says there's some in some MNC, someone is looking for a job. So this is a there this companies have some one opening is there. If I click on the opening, then these are the things they show. So they want one role for this, but the description is pretty long. This one is quite short, but in most cases, if you go to LinkedIn and all, the description is pretty long. And we sitting down reading each of the job descriptions, then reading the resume, it becomes very tough, for us to to check, like, are we really fit for not, because the company uses something called finding the keywords from the resume and checks like whether the person is fit or not. In those cases, what you can do is that you can select the job description. For example, if I take this job description, yeah, so these are the things that are there in this job. I go to Chat GPT, paste the job descriptions thing, and suppose there's some person's resume is there, like resume.com, looking someone's random resume. Mm, okay, if I go to LinkedIn, I click a random resume. Suppose I go to her profile, and that's her about herself. Like I take this thinking as a resume. I click this and go to Chat GPT and I say, uh, act as a recruiter. Check if the profile below is fit for the job role and job role. Yeah. And then, so first, again, as usual, I give the context first. So this is the context that the Chat GPT has to work upon. Then act as a recruiter. So this part, I suggest them a role. First context, then I'm suggesting a role and giving a task. Check if the profile is fit. Check the below profile is fit for the job or job role. So then I'm giving it the instruction, and then I'm also giving some information as well. This is the instructions I given, and then give some information. This is an example, you can say. So this is the magic pyramid that has to be followed in order to get most out of ChatGPT. So it checked and it told all the points. Suppose this is not the thing we actually wanted. We wanted some points, like whether it's fit or not. So this was not that great. So what I will do is that I'll write check the profile below is fit for job role and make tabular points from 1 to 10 to give me the overall rating of the person. So you see, the things that actually qualify for this job, that has been it has scanned through it and given rating. Okay, this person is qualified, has this values, so he is actually, this ratings are there, and therefore the overall rating is 6.7, rounded to 7. That's why he is good fit for this particular position. Or if I suggest that, if I take some other other person, for example, randomly take some other person, and this was the bio, and he needs to how can he improve his bio? For example, I select his bio. Okay, then this was his LinkedIn bio. Now he is trying to polish his role and his responsibility. So how he actually polish those roles? So act as an LinkedIn creator, suggest the places of improvement in my bio for the best results, and rate my places of improvement out of 5. So it went for each of it, like what all things he needs to include, like computer science student, front end. So that's a good, that's 4 by 5, that was missing. Then you need to include a profile picture, it will be 5 on 5 then. So it is able to explain and give rating, so that the person can go and act upon these particular things that are missing in the room. There's more room for improvement is required, and they can make better approach. So that's how this tool like ChatGPT actually comes into picture. Now getting back, so the second next thing comes like writing a cold email. So people spend a lot of hours writing a cold email to recruiters for jobs research and everything. So how do you write a good email? So you can say to ChatGPT that act as a great email writer, as we saw in the example that I showed. Then write an email to the HR for this particular job. So suppose we search for a job. Yeah, suppose we have this job itself. We take this job. So the person is looking for to work in this company. So he doesn't know how to write a good email that will attract the HR and make his way to the interviews better. So we help him out by sending this, like, this is a job role there the HR is looking for, and this is the and you are interested to be part of the company, and what are the things that you can say in order to get most out of it. So you have given the job role, and you have also like you give your background. For example, I take this person's background. Yeah. So I have given the context, then I have given the role they need to play, the model needs to play, and then what are we doing it, the instructions and all. Like it's an HR, we're writing an email to them, and then we give the background of the job. So this is how he should write the email. Like I go down, yeah, dear HR is a placeholder, the HR name. If we don't know, then can just write respected sir or sir. This will help. And then he tells about the technicality skills that he has got from the college and all summarized by ChatGPT. We didn't have to think much. This saves a tons of time. So after this, the person who is actually writing this email, he can give a quick proofreading about himself, uh, by himself or by his friend or colleagues, and then he can just post an email. So this looks more systematic. So first you introduce yourself. After introducing, you tell about your skills that suits your job, the job market, and then you write a cool sanitation code. And you see, it's also about your email address and phone number. I didn't even also think about it, right? So that's the beauty. And see, it directly takes the name. It didn't take the placeholder because the name was already mentioned in the prompt itself. So basically, I showed you this by an example because that was my friend. But I suggest, like, whenever you push some data, try to avoid giving out your personal information. Your name is fine, but anything like your email address or phone number, try to avoid giving that. So I'm using the advanced version right now, ChatGPT 4. So it's already on trained ones, but the free one that we have on ChatGPT 3.5, it's actually under training right now. It trains with our data, our outputs, our inputs that we give. So avoid giving your personal information like credit card or Aadhaar card, or even if your for more email address or phone numbers. Don't give those information. Name is fine. Short names are pretty cooler, but try to avoid giving your personal informations. Yeah. And this is because recently it happened that uh, in Italy, someone's else chat window was displayed in someone's another person's chat window. This is actually called chat window. So if I pull this, you see a lot of write-ups are there. These are called chat windows. But this is one of the chat windows. So Italy, this happened by mistake. Someone's chat window was visible in another person's chat window. So the country banned chat GPT itself. And then in Samsung, it happened. Someone posted an API key, their company's data key, into ChatGPT, and ChatGPT actually learned everything from Samsung information. So they shut down the ChatGPT project itself. So in order to protect your private information and data leakage, it's really suggested that you only give relevant information, not giving your personal data. Okay. So that's how you write emails. But the chat GPT recently it has become very friendly. Like I hope this email finds you well, writing you with a strong interest. Okay. So this actually the problem with chat GPT is that it doesn't have much emotions to it. It doesn't add emotions. But when you use Bing AI, it actually adds more emotions. So suppose this is the information I have. I copy this. I go to Bing AI. So I write Being AI. I go to Google, normal Google. Just write Being AI. And if I go down, yeah, Bing Chat. Then this button comes. If you click this, yeah, the Being AI comes. This is called Being AI. Just like Chat GPT, but this from Bing. That's by Microsoft. So if you just paste here the whole thing, the name, then everything, you will see that it actually makes it more friendly. It consumes a bit more time than ChatGPT because a lot of layering is there. But see, it makes it more friendly. So you see, I hope this email finds you well. My name is this, and I am in this year. It takes all information, and it gives a personal touch to it. The reason I say that, I'll come to as an. Furthermore, I'm experienced in speaking French, so that part is more than 5 years now. So that makes it very much interesting. Like you're also willing to tell about a personal life a bit fascinatingly. So that shows You are really into this job. Thank you for this, considering my application. Overall, I'm a motivated and ambitious individual. So these beautiful words, motivated and ambitious and all, are not used by ChatGPT. ChatGPT makes the tone very flat, but this one, it makes it a bit friendlier and even sweeter in order to get better job opportunities. So you can use, I would suggest being in case of writing emails compared to ChatGPT. Okay, now going back, so we saw that how can we write emails. It will save a tons of our time. And then workflow, so job search wise as well, like I said about the recommendation, we saw that, right? How can we make a tabular format which will help us to save a lot of times, like understand our profiling better, like LinkedIn profile. You can take your LinkedIn profile, download it or a resume, and ask ChatGPT the places for improvement. It will suggest you the best places of improvement and what are actually good in your profile. So this will save you a lot of time and help you to self analysis of your own role. And then going forward, and this is a very interesting one, making websites without coding. I'll show you. So for example, you ask ChatGPT, suppose you want to make a website. Okay, so suppose you want to make a website of a gym. So you write act as a web developer, make an website all in of gym theme, and it should have HTML, CSS, and JavaScript in one page itself. So I set the context and the task it need to be done and give some slight instructions. You see the whole code, it's writing it out. I didn't have to think much. Now, how do I it actually good or not? How do I know? If I just go to Google and write a HTML viewer. Yeah. Suppose, and I paste it here. You see the whole website comes in the picture. It's a skeleton. Suppose I want, so it also added the at the rate. That's a trademark. 2024 gym fit. It gave a name also to your gym, like gym fit, and it also made hyperlinks and everything is there. Suppose I want to say that I don't want to read the code, but I want to say that make this colorful. I just add here, make the above website colorful. So it will automatically add colors, and whichever color you don't like, you can again just tweak it, like just prompt it, and it will just make those changes for you without even you need to change, write the whole code again, or even need to search also. Control Alt, Control V. So it added whatever color it felt like. Suppose you don't want anything black, you can just mention it. There shouldn't be any black color, so it will change it accordingly. But that's the beauty of this. Like I didn't have to write a code. I didn't write this dozen of lines of code, and it simultaneously give me the whole output. This is one page. Similarly, other pages can be done. I'll show you a practical example. I made a whole website using ChatGPT, inspiringfitness.in. So this whole website, the image behind also was made using ChatGPT, and this is a practical website right now. It's used in one of the gyms in in Kolkata. So all of this has been done just using ChatGPT within 1.5 hours. So that's the power of generative AI and ChatGPT. Now going back, there's some other things can be done with ChatGPT. So I showed you the things you can try out, and suppose you want to try with images and all, that's also possible. Suppose, yeah. So I have I have GPT-5. So in GPT-5, suppose I pass in some image and ask it to extract information. Suppose I pass in my book. One second. Yeah. Suppose I say extract the text from this book. So it will go see whatever is written on this book and try to extract it. But the same thing, you don't have to take ChatGPT 4 in order to do this. You can just go to uh, this what to say, Bing AI, and here the image file is there. Just click on the image, and you can select any of the images. For example, I go to download, select the book, extract the text. So it will be able. It will take some time, but it will be able to extract the good things. Things are going to happen 2023. We got back and check once. Yeah. So good things are going to happen in 2023. So it was able to extract a text without even you trying to think how to do that and all. Similarly, this also is able to good things are going to happen in 2023. So this is free. So you don't have to pay for ChatGPT 4 in order to get these features. Another good thing about ChatGPT recently has come is that there's something called this, what to say, um, explore GPTs. What is this explore GPTs? So basically, explore GPTs are like people like us have recently used ChatGPT to make a lot of tools. So if you are able to see, these are the various featuring tools that has been made using ChatGPT. So Canva is one of the very popular tools I have been using in the morning. So like you can just try to like make an Instagram post about breathtaking sunset, and then Canva, using Canva and ChatGPT, it is able to make such posts itself, and we can choose whichever we like and modify accordingly. That's the next beauty coming off with ChatGPT. And you can also make your own models. You don't have to be stick to that. Here you see create is there. My GPTs create, and you can suggest like what all you can give a prompt, like I was giving prompt like text summarizers, whichever prompt you feel like you can suggest, write about them. I want to make a text summarizer of for example of books. So you can mention those details, so it will make a text summary and you can publish it, launch it into the chat gpt, and then people, just like I used Canva, your models can be used by people and this will generate revenue for you. Currently this is actually, the revenue generation is limited to US markets, but slowly as we go forward, Indian markets will also start gaining money from chat gpt, their own store or their own apps that they have created. And also we can configure like what all things we want it to do, like will it be able to do image generation, should it browse through internet, or code generation. All these things can be done by chat gpt. And one more beautiful thing I'll just show you. suppose you want uh, Suppose you want that it writes in a particular format, particular style. So I say write a story of rabbit and rabbit and tortoise in um, suppose in the Rabindranath Tagore style. So you see, like we can also suggest like which type of storytelling we want. So this is one example. For example, tomorrow you're working with some client and you want to write the context in such a way that will be soothing for them. Suppose you are selling your Coca-Cola brand to some other person. In that case, you can write this advertisement in such a way that Walmart accepts my product, Coca-Cola product, in their market, or D-Mart or Spencer accepts my product in their market. So this story is actually written in a very slow paced, and just like Rabindranath Tagore's stories are very slow paced, calming, and soothing to read. See, like uh, as white as the phone of Ganga's, because he written Gitanjali behind beside the Ganga River. So that's why that touch, giving that those touch. Similarly, it does same here. So that's the most of it, and then there are multiple ways in which ChatGPT like we can deploy our model. So ChatGPT use API keys. I'll just show you how to get ChatGPT API key to make your own coding models. So just the same website you go, OpenAI, and here API is there. You click this overview. Okay, you have to log in. After logging, you'll get this overview, and then you'll get all the models, like how to get the API keys. All informations are here. DALI E, that's for the images we created. All you get it from here. Open AI API key. So you'll also get blogs as well, where you can read about this open, how to use it in your day-to-day activities. And then these are some of the projects that people do generally. Like they make language translations. For example, someone is there in your home who doesn't understand English. They understand some native language. So you can do a translation for them using OpenAI key. And then there's something called LangChain, very famously used. They have some inbuilt agents in them. What are these agents? These are tools, basically tools that help ChatGPT to get integrated and be used for project making. For example, the Canva one I showed, they use LangChain over there. Similarly, you can use for summarization, you can make text summaries, resume parsers as I showed using ChatGPT. And some data science projects also are there, very good projects that can be done using ChatGPT. So I would end it by saying that AI tools are very good. So this has been said by Sam Altman himself. Okay, so AI tools are very good at doing tasks, but at doing whole jobs, what's for now? What does that mean? You can't like give everything to AI and go and sleep. You have to monitor. If you have heard of self-driving car, it's a very fantastic thing, but still we need a driver over there for safety. So there's a lot of regulations are still going on. Lot of work is still pending. So people who are thinking AI will take their jobs, no, it's not going to happen. People who have AI skills are going to sustain for longer. That I would say. So if you have any questions, free feel to ask.
Thank you very much, Ashish. It was really informative. I have a couple of questions. Uh, One is that what is the subscription for price, the cost for GPT-4? And second question is, like, for example, let's say I have a use case wherein I have a website, my own design website, but I want a chatbot within my website. So in that case, can I use chat GPT's just a chatbot in my website and just to answer questions pertaining to my own text? And do the API keys that you mentioned would be helpful in that case? Thank you.
Yes, yes. So coming to each of your questions, starting the first one, the pricing of ChatGPT 4 it was previously it was pretty high, but recently it has gone down to like 5,500 per month, something like that. But again, if you are taking in bulk, like 1 year to 18 months of subscription, then the price again goes down. Okay. And the second part to it, like if you are connected with your organization and your organization is already approving the use of ChatGPT, you can ask them to give you this, what to say, ChatGPT's version plus version. So it will reduce the cost even down, because for the commercial or for the industry point of view, the cost again goes down. And I'll give you another hack over here. The If you have some relative who have never opened ChatGPT before, you can ask for their phone number and OTP and connect to ChatGPT. You'll get $5 initial account for free, and you can use that API key for free for $5. Initial $5 is completely free. So I'll just show you that. Is my screen visible still?
Yes, it is visible. Thank you.
Visible? Yeah. So if I go to login, okay, do I need to? If I go to API overview, I think price. Okay, wait. API pricing. Yeah. So here you'll get to see all the pricings are there. GPT-4 pricing. Here you will get all the pricings, and then there is something called more sales. Yeah. Solution. Okay, you just need to go to this OpenAI and just log in into the page. As soon as you log in the under the API itself, you'll get something called API pricing. And on pricing, you'll find the place where the API key is generated. And this might be costly for the time being. So if you want to do some personal research, there's something called Hugging Face is there, and their API is completely free. And they also have a tons of this what to say tons of text summarizers, sentimental analyzers, all are there. Their subscription is completely free. There's no pricing, and the models, they have a lot of models. We click on models, you'll find hundreds of models. Like, okay, 16,000 pages are there, so like thousands of models are there, and you can use this model for your own text generation. Even like even they recently have come something called image to video. That's a very new thing. Like, you just pass the image and write a prompt, like this is an image of like a bear walking through the forest, then the image starts to move actually. And that they're still working on it. I'll show you an example. Recently, Google also has come up with something called Google research, something called Lumiere. So you have to just pass the image and they and give a prompt, and it will actually start moving. So this Hugging Face is giving completely for free, and the API is completely for free in Hugging Face. You can try it out. And rest, I would suggest that you can ask your company. They give a lot of discounts. That's how I got it from my company. Yeah. So that was it. And your second part, coming to the website, making a chatbot using this GPT. Yeah, it's possible. It's definitely possible. And you, as when you get the OpenAI key, as I showed you from there, then you can use it in your code, integrate in your code, and start using in your websites as well. But I would suggest check the need first, because it's quite costly, because using the chat GPT API key is not that what to say that much cost efficient, because sometimes what happens is that people might have very minimal questions, and for higher questions they can directly call to the agent or someone. So I would suggest first you check the need. Do you actually need a chat GPT's API key in your chatbot? Because cost is also an important factor when it comes to using LM models. Yeah, I hope I was able to answer your question. Yeah.
Yes, thank you very much.
Hi, Ashish. If you have time, can you just show quickly in 1 or 2 minutes about how to use GitHub Copilot that you mentioned in the last class
Oh,
to
yes.
generate
Yes, yes.
code like using Python, how to write say circuit programming. Just a quick one to see how
Sure,
it
sure, sure,
works.
sure.
Thank you.
So if you have seen, I just the Bing AI which was open, this one is now powered by GitHub Copilot itself. Okay, this it's actually powered by GitHub Copilot. So any code doubts you have, you can ask here as well. And suppose how to you become very good at coding is using GitHub Copilot. I'll just tell you. Suppose you are planning to switch your job, or you're planning to learn better at coding. In those cases, suppose Lead Code is a very well-known platform where people go to practice competitive coding. And suppose this is opening. Yeah. Suppose I take a random example. This is an example. Yeah. So this is an example, and this is a very long example, and I'm not able to understand or take what is trying to say. In those cases, I can just copy this, and then I can go to ChatGPT, paste it. So I again, all as usual, give the context first. Then I read act as a coder, suggest me the way I should code this in Python. Suppose I want to code it in Python. So it goes to the information. After going to the information, the steps and everything, examples, it gives the code in Python, like how do I code in Python. And now I have got the code. It has given me some steps like how it works and all, but I'm not able to understand it. Then again, I can just copy this code, go down, paste the code and say, please add comments in the above code and explain me this as if I am 10-year-old kid. Old kid. So it started added comments to it. After adding comments, it also like explainability. It will also enhance the explainability. And then if you have, suppose you're making some mistakes in code. For example, you take this part of the code, you're making a lot of like it's not running and you don't know how to correct it. You just paste the code that you have written, you're not able to understand. So suppose there's some mistakes, some bugs are there, and you need to fix it. Suppose these two bugs are, I have introduced two bugs over here. So I say act as a code reviewer, correct the above code and check for improvements. Why check for improvement? Sometimes it happens that the way we have written the code is not a best or optimized manner. So in this case, you see, it was able to go through it. I skipped one of the stars, so it introduced the other star, and then there was only single equal to. It corrected to double equal to. So it able to correct the code's error, that the bugs it was facing, and able to give the answer. Suppose you are running this and some random error comes, and you don't know, like you go to Stack Overflow, and Stack Overflow is not able to explain you. You can copy that error over here and ask it for an explanation, and even to correct that, how to correct that error. So ChatGPT even does that. So for example, I go to Stack Overflow. Suppose I'm getting this random error. I act as an exceptional and expert coder. Tell me the ways to get rid of the above issue. So it went to the issue and it's explaining you what are the possible issues could be there when this error came and how do you actually tackle these issues, and it give all sort of examples. So this is some of the ways you can use ChatGPT in order to improvise your coding skills. First of all, here like you didn't understand the context, so you gave the code to it and gave it explanation, ask it for the solution. Even you still didn't understand the solution, you can send like space the code and ask it to explain you as if you're a 10-year-old kid with comments. It explained you with the comments as well. And if there are still bugs are there, you can just paste that part of code and act as a code reviewer and explain it to correct that errors and send you the final answer. So this is how you can actually improvise your coding skills using ChatGPT. And I will suggest that if you are using this part, this some coding place to improve your learning. So there is something called editorials are there in these. Okay, this is I'm not logged in. So if you are logged in, there's some editorials will be there. Just your top three votes. It will try to give the best explanation for this particular question. If you're still not able to understand, you can go to ChatGPT and ask it for explain me this as if I'm a 5-year-old kid. You'll explain you the whole concept. I hope that was
Yeah,
able.
very useful. Thank you very much.
So is there any other questions? Are we good?
No, Ashish, thanks. We'll try it out and then maybe if any
Sure.
questions, we'll come back to you.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you all for taking out your time on this Sunday and being around. I hope most of your questions were able to answer. And yeah, keep learning, keep going forward, and try to go through tweets most of the time. The tweets give a lot of information about what's actually going on in GenAI place. So the information that I showed you, many of the information I got it from tweets, recent tweets. Thank you all.